Hey everybody, on this episode of the Timeless After Show, we're breaking down Season 1, Episode 10, The Capture of Benedict Arnold. The team and Flynn try to go back and stop Rittenhouse where it started. How successful are they? Let's find out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, look at that.
Follow the money and see where it goes.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Timeless After Show. A little bit of Hamilton. Must be nice to know George Washington. Is that, or is what's the name of the song?
Washington on your side.
Washington on your side.
Washington on your side. Look
Yeah.
at that. Big Hamilton fan, as you can tell. There you go. So everybody, we're going to be breaking down the winter finale of Timeless Season 1, Episode 10, The Capture of Benedict Arnold. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Nice ending, Steve.
No, it's beautiful.
It's
I'm really
perfect
glad that he picked the ending of that because it's my favorite part. I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me all over social media where all shenanigans will ensue at atorres890.
All shenanigans. I like
All of
that.
them. Every single one
Like
of them.
every single shenanigans.
Yeah.
You know, see.
Just a clarification.
Yes.
Around 95% of shenanigans.
Okay, fine. No, you're right.
95.
Yeah, I'll take
Disclaimer.
95. Yeah.
She
sorry.
saves the other 5% for elsewhere.
Yes, usually.
Yes. Okay, I'm Chris Howard.
Yeah,
Reach out.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, Comic-Con. There you go. Reach out at Chris Howard Live on both Twitter and Instagram. And now I want to watch Hamilton.
you
It's
go.
so good.
We've got Stephen in the booth, and Carrie Lane,
Stephen!
usually the person that rounds out our panel, she is on assignment or perhaps lost in time.
I think
We'll
she's
find out.
lost
I
in
think
time.
she's lost in time.
Yeah.
What time period do you think she went to?
She loved the. Didn't she say she loved the 70s?
Sure.
I thought that's what.
She's in the
or
70s.
the 60s. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's probably told us each a different time period to cover her tracks.
Right, right.
She is a smart
So we can't
cookie.
find
That's right.
Yeah.
But folks, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hop
I'm too
in the
high.
chat. Right now you see Alexis got her computer right there. She's got the chat up and running, so you can share your thoughts about the winter finale or the series in general. So let's just get right into it, man. The Capture of Benedict Arnold.
Yes.
Look at that. Just general overthoughts before we get into the episode in particular. There, are you happy with the way they kind of stuck the landing on this winter finale?
Yeah, I felt like we got a lot. Just like the last episode, we got a lot of information going into it, or throughout the episode, and it definitely rounded out a lot of things as well. But yeah, there was a lot of things where I was like, "It's a trap! How can you not see that?" And then there are other times I was like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that." That was also really nice. Like it kept me on my toes the entire time, which was awesome.
That's hard to do. She is an aficionado.
No,
Yeah, you are. I liked it. I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah, this is one of those where I just feel like things are happening. Things are moving. Things are moving.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like when we get this.
There's some substance to it, huh?
Yeah.
It's like that.
yeah, there's
I mean,
a lot of
considering-
meat on this episode.
Yeah, if you look at the whole thing, it's basically all the episodes are kind of mythology episodes, so to speak,
Yeah.
because it's got the general premise of trying to track down Flynn, who's attached to Rittenhouse
Yeah,
somehow.
it was like
But-
a monster of the week, but not at the same time because it was more like time of the week. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
weird.
but this one just felt like, hey, everything matters this episode,
Yeah.
everything that we're doing. And we start the episode off, of course, with Benedict Arnold. He's fleeing because he knows Washington is on the way to capture him because he's about to go betray Washington to the British.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a classic point in time. I liked looking at this. Then I had to think, if Benedict Arnold, so Washington was having breakfast at Benedict Arnold's house when Benedict Arnold took off. Is that why they call it Eggs Benedict?
Oh,
Did that not even come into your head? No, it wasn't meant to be a joke though. Like, I'm serious.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
guess
have
we'll have to find
no
out.
idea,
Yeah.
but I would like to. That's like the one thing I never even put 2 and 2 together.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. Leave it to
No,
Chris
look
Howard.
at you.
There you
Asking the
go.
questions no one's even thought of yet.
If someone in the chat
Timeless
knows,
questions. Yeah, if
and
somebody
it's-
knows, please let us know.
put it in.
In 1984, Lemuel Benedict, a Wall Street broker
Ha!
who was suffering from a hangover, ordered some buttered toast, crisp bacon, 2 poached eggs, and a hooker of hollandaise sauce at the Waldorf Hotel in New York.
A hooker and hollandaise sauce?
Yes.
Chris, come on.
He's kidding.
There you go.
Oh, are you joking? Is this real or what?
A hooker is a ramekin of hollandaise sauce.
Okay.
Do you know what a ramekin is?
The little metal thing?
Yeah, so a hooker is like a ramekin.
Okay. But it does say hooker, Hooker.
There you go. All right, everybody. Yes, there you go. Let's focus on the important parts of that story.
All right.
So what are we talking about? I don't remember.
So,
I blacked out for a second.
There you go. We come back to the present, and we find Lucy eating dinner at Agent Christopher's house.
Yeah.
Which seems kind of unusual. This is not the way you'd expect to be coming into this episode.
The one thing I did like about it was the fact that we find out that Agent Christopher, Was I saying that right?
Christopher.
Yeah, she has a girlfriend.
That the fact that she's
Yeah.
that she's
Or
a
a wife.
lesbian, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, very much so.
I would have never put 2 and 2 together on that one, and I was like, good for you. I like that we threw that in there.
Isn't it wild that the partner, though, that, like, I don't know if, like, in these episodic serials, that the partner is always kind of a little chiffed or chuffed that about what their partner does.
Well,
for a
yeah,
living.
especially I think that a lot of people who have husbands,
They can relate
wives,
to
or
that?
whatever that are in the government that can't talk about the stuff that they work with if they're in the FBI or whatever.
Right.
Probably are just like, I kind of want to know what you do, but I also really don't know. I really don't want to know what you do at
Right.
the same time. So I can understand if that is a real
So
aspect.
that you
of
think that stereotype might be a real deal?
I think so, for sure.
Because it's such a large, somebody's work is such a large part of their life, and if you're not able to talk
Connect
about
on it,
that with your
yeah.
partner, I mean, I would imagine for the partner that kind of gets weighing because depending on your mood, they can't even tell you why they're in that mood. Cause
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
I can understand why in a relationship it can kind of be a
Yeah, 'cause
source of friction.
communication is kind of key in a relationship, so it's kind of hard when you're like, I'm really upset about this thing, I just can't tell you about it or I have to kill you. Like, you know? So, I don't know.
How many times have you had to threaten your loved one? Just, darn it, how many times can you go to that well?
Yeah.
But we do find out the reason that Agent Christopher invited Lucy over, though, was, and I like how the show jumped over it, is that we already get past the point of Rufus telling the team that he told Agent Christopher everything he did in the last episode about
I'm kinda
Rittenhouse
glad
and what
we
they
did
know.
that, though.
That was great. I like
Yeah.
that the show just like,
Didn't
hey,
need it.
we can just jump right ahead to it. But that she is really sympathizing with Lucy or Lucy's mother in particular, because it's one thing to know that you have a sister and lost her, but to not even know you had a daughter because time has been changed.
Right.
I'm really, really, really happy that we got to see this side of her, because the fact that Agent Christopher is not really in the show that much, she's usually there to give orders and kind of be like the stern mom of the group, which I like that. But I love that we got to see a more humanized side of her. I mean, not saying that she's not humanized, but just the fact that she's very
They're
one.
building her
She's one.
character,
Yeah, she's
yeah.
one note. You know, so now that we have this other aspect of the fact that even though she knows that she does terrible things, something keeps her up at night.
And I also like the fact that she's feeling the gravity of everything they're going through. It's not like she's impervious to it, because she could just be the tough guy, Homeland Security type character, whereas she's really she's human. She's like, well, I get this. I get what that must feel like to
Yeah.
not have a sister now. I get.
Well, yeah, I mean the fact that she brought up the fact that she is a mom. I didn't
Yeah, you
catch.
see a little baby. There was a
Yeah, I was
picture.
like, I didn't catch how old the baby was. I didn't know if it was a newborn or if it's like an infant. I couldn't.
Seemed
really
like it was
tell.
more than one kid too, didn't it? She was
I
like
thought it was
them.
just-
Well,
She
well,
kept
I-
No,
saying
she was talking
them.
about her wife
Yeah, and
and
daughter.
and
And
her daughter.
okay.
and the
got it.
daughter's old enough because she had the conversation with her on the phone last week. So about
Okay,
school.
so maybe yeah. I
Well, I
don't
think
know.
Okay.
that's just the baby that's growing up.
But you
so-
are
Okay.
sharp.
Yeah.
No, but that makes it makes
I
I
sense.
wasn't tweeting. I wasn't live tweeting during the show.
Ah! I thought I was going to have to ask you what was written on the scroll like tonight, and it was going to all be all about
But
that.
no, but it makes sense, and I love that the fact that I didn't even think about the fact that the mom doesn't remember having a daughter because it never happened. So in my brain, I'm like, that seems normal, but coming from I'm not a mom. So I can totally see from her perspective where she's like, you can't forget. I could never wake up and not be able to see that face and just not know who she is. Like that would be, it would just destroy my world. So it makes sense. It's it was just nice to see it from her.
Well, they must really, the writers must be really going in and really doing some real thought about this, because for her to empathize with Lucy's mother, that just shows a lot of depth to the character.
definitely.
Yeah. And I'm
what-
hoping to get more of that from her.
For sure. And the one thing that she does to kind of help her situation out, she gives Lucy a flash drive with a bunch of family photos and artwork that they did in kindergarten, things like that. Things that if Lucy does come back to the present and Agent Christopher suddenly realizes, or doesn't, the timeline's changed and Agent Christopher doesn't realize she had a wife and a daughter,
That's exactly what's
that
gonna
you can
happen.
show them that and tell them about this very evening that they had dinner at the house and just remind Agent Christopher of who she had in her life.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no unless
You guys were talking about this, yeah.
that there is an actual reason of just like, hey, I didn't have to use this. I don't think that's how the writers would go because they want conflict. That's the whole point of moving shows along. So I feel like
What's the point of the setup without the...
without a consequence,
Right.
you know? Like there has to be an end result
Yeah.
to use this flash drive.
Because the scene in itself is really nice, but you also
yeah.
want to see that the
Warm
other
and
side of
fuzzies.
it. Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to see like Lucy have to Tell somebody.
Yeah, and it's gonna be heartbreaking watching her go, I don't know what you're trying to show me. I don't know these people. I don't recognize their faces. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Well, what's kind of neat is this episode set it up to go any place.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it can really
So
go
many
any
predictions.
place.
It's gonna be awesome. And we're just only in the mid-season finale. It's not even the season finale.
Yeah, they're
So-
doing a good job. They're doing a really good job.
I'm happy
Because I know
about it.
there were questions early on about whether they were going to get more episodes, right? And then they got more
They
episodes
did?
after this, and then hopefully it keeps going for another season. Yeah.
Let's hope. So we also then cut to from that, Rufus over at G is playing some games, and Mason decides to drop by and have a visit, and has a little talk with Rufus and says, "Hey, guess what? Rittenhouse realizes that you've been tampering with his recordings. You get one last shot. to
Flynn
do this."
seems to know everything. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're talking about when Mason came by. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he knows everything too, but he's drunk.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting. Yeah, really waiting. I feel like that the second half of the season we're gonna get some kind of Mason-specific episode because we've been getting little breadcrumbs about his past, and to hear him kind of open up a little bit about why he just started getting into inventing things, and it was just to help his mother clean houses a little easier.
That was
No,
kinda neat.
again, I love that we get little tiny Easter eggs of Mason's past, whether it has to do with Wyatt or just him, and just the fact that he was always a smart kid. That's always how he's always been, and he definitely has a heart. So that he wanted to help his mom, and then he didn't want to deal with all these investors and go through interviews and things like that. He just wanted to help his mom out.
It shows that creative type of personality. They typically don't care about the investors and stuff, but it takes money to fund their research, you know.
Clearly,
Look,
yeah.
it's like Tesla and Edison, you know. It's like
Yeah, I mean, as much as like money makes the world go around, it's just that's just how it works. Whether you want it to be a positive thing or a negative thing,
Right.
There's nothing you can do about that.
So they also then get a call after Mason leaves and let them know that, hey, guess what? Flynn's in.
Talk about a C blocker. Am I right?
who's this?
Mason.
Mason. Thank you. I was trying
Yes.
not to say it out loud, but like. Yeah, he just knocks on the door. They thought it was pizza. They're having a cute little time playing video games. He
yeah,
just
that's
ruined it
true.
with his drunkenness and
right.
guilt.
So Flynn is back September 25th, 1780.
Drunken guilt is always a C blocker.
No, correct.
That's true.
Okay.
And we find out that, of course, Lucy, being the historian that she is, knows how important that moment is in history. And they know Washington would be at Arnold's house, and that Arnold was about to betray Washington and his troops over there, let everybody know what was happening. So it's time to get the crew back to 1780.
I love how I guess Lucy went back home first, and then because I was confused because Agent Christopher and Lucy were at the same place, but Agent Christopher was already at the hub, is what I call it.
It was
and
just
then,
like this fast
yeah.
shift. Yeah.
So I was like, did Lucy go back home and then go? Why didn't you guys go in the same
da-da-da,
car?
let's go.
Save gas. What's
she didn't
happening?
want Wyatt and Rufus to know that they were so close. They,
They had dinner.
you wait
Don't be
5
jelly.
minutes
Yeah.
before you
Don't be
come over.
jelly. That's
comes
so
out.
funny.
But this was like the first episode for a while that we've seen anything happening before they arrive someplace. There was
Yeah.
that little setup period. Usually it's just like boom, running through the Chicago or wherever they are.
And again, when they get back to 1780, and we've talked about this before, always my favorite shots in the show where the characters are just appreciating being back in a historical time period, and just that little moment of just like soaking it in for a second.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, they were taken aback by it, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like kind of awestruck by being there in George Washington's presence.
Holy
No, I mean, I would be in the same exact
Yeah.
boat if I bumped into George Washington. No words would be able to come out of my mouth. I'm like, you're the first president. Like, it just, I wouldn't even know what to say.
Isn't it interesting they called him Your Excellency?
No, but
It's not what you think of,
It's
though, when you-
it's in history books about that because he wasn't the president yet. But he
Right,
was
but
such a
that's-
great man that they're like, what do we call you? Your Excellency? Yeah, okay,
Was he
that
such a
works.
great man, or was it
Well,
because
I
it
mean,
was just kind of
for the time, like what he was doing
was
at
it
the time.
spillover though from England?
Well, like a little monarchy type.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah, like
monarchy type.
it made sense for at the time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why, like, is it that, did he relish to be called Your Excellency?
No.
Or was it because
From Washington, he was somebody that never really sought that kind of power. That's why he went after one
that's
term.
why they liked him?
Well, it's also why he stepped aside after one
did he?
term. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was something like being in that position was not something that he relished or he craved.
Right, got it.
So he was just there to get the country to that point, and then after the 4 years, he's like, I'm stepping aside and let other
So
people.
he made
take this.
America great again.
Well, I guess maybe America. Great.
I'm not even gonna comment.
No, okay, let's not go there.
But I also like the little nugget that Lucy throws out, just so we get an idea of when you think about Benedict Arnold. One of the things that is like his extravagance and his opulent lifestyle that he liked to lead.
Did you say an $80,000 bottle of wine?
He spent £1,000 on a bottle of wine, which today would be like spending $80,000 on a bottle.
I
of
was
wine.
like, oh, sweet Jesus.
That's crazy.
Benedict Arnold. You'd almost be happy that he went to the other side.
Now, I think of the three of us here, the one that's probably leading the most extravagant lifestyle is Chris Howard.
Oh,
so
come
Chris
now.
Howard, well, how much would you spend for a bottle of wine?
I like a nice bottle of wine, but right now, like they've got I think it's called Apothecary or something like that. It's like $6 at the store, and it's a nice bottle of wine. But I like a nice bottle of wine. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
$6 is your limit. I got it.
No, I mean I
right.
spent like up to $300 for a bottle of wine, but it's been a
Well.
long time.
I think my
Yeah.
mom did that one time where we spent like over like $300, but it was like really good wine.
Right.
And I felt bad because I was just like,
Yeah, on the right occasion, you can get a pretty darn good wine for
yeah.
$300.
I have a terrible sweet tooth when it comes to drinks. So
Oh, do
she's
you?
like, I was like, no.
Do you like
And-
Moscato? Or,
Yeah, that's my jam. I felt really bad.
So, of course, they meet General Washington. He puts them in a room, of course, because he don't know exactly why they're all of a sudden coming to Benedict Arnold's house. And then who pops in but Flynn? Right now, the episode is just off and running to the races there. Flynn comes in, guns are drawn. He says, hey, guess what? I am here to help you guys out. I need your help now, too. So all you got to do is just put the gun down and just follow my lead.
Yeah.
And,
It's an interesting scene.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that it was good for them? Not good for them, but do you think that would you do, if you were in the same situation, would you do what they did, where they went along with this plan?
I think you have to. Especially Flynn coming in, and also, he's the one that kind of first drew back the gun from being pointed. So, if he's coming in like that, and he's willing to kind of relinquish his power in that scene, I think you'd want to at least go along at first and see what
I
the deal
agree.
is.
There's got to be something real there. Yeah, no, I hear that. I think that, once again, I've got to credit the writers because I think it was an excellent scene. How do you get these characters that have been diametrically opposed to actually align there and to make it believable? I thought they did it really well.
No, I think it was
Yeah.
great because you're trying to fool George Washington. It's so weird in my head to even think about that. They're like, well, you're lying to George Washington to make sure that you get through this plan. It's crazy. And I love how they used they were spies, and there was like a whole thing about it. The fact that I can't remember the name of the Prussian spy.
Oh,
Was it
Austin
Poe?
Rowe.
Austin Rowe, and the fact
from the
that
Culper Ring.
Yeah, and the fact that they've never met face to face.
So did you guys know about that historically?
I didn't
or-
know about that.
I didn't know about Austin Rowe, but I did know about the Culper Ring. So
Yeah.
The
I knew-
Culper Ring is what?
it was like you could think like they're the prototypes of spies.
Okay.
It was
Yes.
like when
Got
they
it.
kind of first started, kind of a little bit.
So no, he was a Prussian spy. They said
Prussian, yeah.
Prussian. So at and George Washington knew who he was.
Yes.
but
Yes.
had never.
Well, because
seen him.
they've conversed before.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've I think it was through letters only, not face
Okay.
to face.
Yeah. So you wouldn't know the accent.
So yeah, so
and
they
you
were like,
wouldn't-
you would have no idea.
Right.
Here's an artist's rendering of my face, just so you can look at it as you
Can
read
you
my letter.
imagine? Here, I sent the painting. It took like a month. Here you go. So you know who you're talking to.
So they're willing to go along with Flynn's gambit and say, yes, we are who he says he is. And Washington says, great. You know what? I want you to go back and get Benedict Arnold, bring him back to me. Get behind enemy lines, go to behind the redcoats, pose as you're going to be traitors to the cause, grab him. I want him back alive so I can hang him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is, a lot of people who don't know much about Washington think that, oh, he's such a great guy and everything. I was like, no, he was a ruthless leader. Like,
Was he?
Yeah. I mean, like, the reason why he was a leader was because he did think logically, but there are other times where I heard that I don't know much about him because I didn't do it like extensive research, but I know that he was a hothead, but he also, loved people. He's very loyal. Like there was, that's the one thing I like about, not to completely sway off from like the Hamilton musical, everybody knows that he's on the $10 bill and he's done great things. He started great things, but also he was a womanizer.
Is there a
and-
song that you could do to
Nope,
would
not
just
doing
really
that.
encapsulate all of
Nope,
this?
Nope.
No.
Look it up. Hamilton, the Broadway, original Broadway cast. Look it up. But like I like that shows like this and musicals like that show that even though these guys did great things, they were also human.
They were flawed,
They
right.
have flaws. Yeah.
Right,
So I-
womanizer. I mean, what leader really wasn't? Martin Luther King Jr. was. They all. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of standard fare back then. One of my relatives was actually one of the first spies.
Oh, really?
Nathan Hale.
Oh, awesome.
What did he say? He said, my only regret is that I have but one life to lose for my country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think Washington sent him off to go spy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, look at that.
That's
Chris
cool
Howard
names.
just historical name dropping here. Chris Howard. Got it. So once Washington and his men leave the room, we really get into the nitty gritty here. We get Flynn and the team talking. And Flynn breaking down like why he wants their help. This is the chance he shows them right away. We thought like, what about this key that he got from Bonnie and Clyde? He gives them that information, gives them the scroll that he got from the clock.
Everything gets laid out, yeah.
Yes. I mean, Flynn does not leave, as far as we know right now, puts all cards on the table. Which was kind of cool. I mean,
Right.
and is willing to sweeten the pot, give them the keys to the mothership if they go along with him and help him get Benedict Arnold, not bring him back to Washington, but Flynn wants to interrogate him because he knows this is where the start of Rittenhouse is.
Right.
No, and I think that was a smart idea because it's not just like we're just going to go run and gun through this. We should find out more information besides just the letter and knowing that he was part of Rittenhouse or one of the founders of Rittenhouse.
Isn't it weird though? Why would Benedict Arnold, who's betraying the country, be a founder of Rittenhouse? Because he was betraying the country back to in relationship to England, right?
No, well, I mean, history tells us that he was doing that for England, but I mean, for the show, I felt like he was just betraying them because he wanted to be part of Rittenhouse.
He wanted to be a part of
change-
something different.
He
It
wanted to
was
change
his-
history in his own different
And
way.
he hated Washington at that point, or he felt resentful.
Yes, because the fact that Washington didn't back him up when he was supposed to be coming.
So it's like-
something. Actually, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Did we get Rufus?
We have a special guest who's calling in that
Malcolm!
I was talking to. You couldn't see.
I colored.
It was over here on this section. We have Malcolm Barrett who plays Rufus on the line. Hello, sir. I was like, no, we lost him. It's so good to hear your voice.
I thought you
Hey,
might have
guys,
been calling in. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing great. Now, this is so awesome to have you on the show because I know you and Alexis have talked before, and I know your reluctance to do the Skype interview. You really were trying to do something in studio, so I think we all appreciate you taking the time.
I'm
Totally.
like,
Breaking your
I'm
in-person-
starstruck right
Yes.
now. I'm so happy that you're here.
I literally, I was just chilling and I saw the link because I never see you. I don't know what I'm doing during the after show. Probably, I'm super Hollywood. I'm living a very expensive life. But usually, I finally got the link and I was like, I'm just gonna call and see what.
I'm so
Yes!
glad
That's
you
so
did.
cool.
That is so cool. Very nice.
What time period are you in right now?
2016.
2016. Wow.
Oh,
So are we.
Oh, on the show.
Yeah, no.
We're currently shooting a western. It's Jesse James and the true life inspiration of the Lone Ranger.
Oh my God!
come
I'm
on.
losing
That
my mind.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, because I feel so bad. I feel like I stalk her. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw your Instagram post and your Twitter post about it. It looks like
I just followed you guys just now. I freaking stalked you guys to call your number. So I think it links
right.
up. It's
so
okay.
glad
We're
you're
even.
here.
So we got our own fans too.
No,
Yeah.
stop it.
I'm joking.
Exactly.
So Malcolm, just to jump in, for you, getting into the show, were you a history buff at all leading into this, or is this kind of ignited your passion for history?
A little bit of both. I mean, I know some details and things like that. I was really excited to be a part of something that was taking on history and that was showing a point of view of African Americans that you don't usually see. And in general, I was probably a bigger fan of sci-fi and time travel. I followed everything from Quantum Leap to Back to the Future to Sliders to Doctor Who. So being a part of this was, just a great opportunity.
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask, did you have any idea how meaty your role would be going into it?
No. I mean, the pilot was what it was. I did a little bit of ad-libbing there. And from then on, they've mostly just sort of written for me, towards the cast in general. So it's been a really great opportunity, and I've been surprised at the avenues in which they've been able to take my character.
Yeah, because while we're, all the whole ensemble is great, but I think just surprised by the amount of growth that your character's gone through this season. How have you enjoyed Rufus's journey so far?
Oh, I've loved it. I have the luxury is because my character was the one who was probably the most malleable, compared to the others. I think, they kind of have to stick to their position as Lucy and Wyatt because they're so in conflict with each other. The fortunate thing about Rufus is because he doesn't have a hard and clear answer, he's able to evolve and change in ways that are a little unexpected and can easily side with Lucy on a particular given day or Wyatt, on top of the fact of just discovering who he is and what he is himself. He probably closely represents what any of us would go through having to be in those situations. which is freaking out. And that poor guy.
I think if we look at everybody on the show, I feel like you can say Rufus is somebody that cannot have a pleasant afternoon, morning meal, whatever.
Anytime.
Everything's interrupted. Everything's interrupted with
It
Rufus.
drives me up a wall that you can't sit there and have sushi or dim sum or whatever that you're eating at that point in time and just without someone being like, I have to talk to you, I have to interrupt you, I gotta stop your Prius. And I'm like, why? Just let him have an
It's true.
afternoon.
Rufus he never gets a full, long, enjoyable day. So you can't even get a date with Gia.
He was finally having video games and pizza, the best date ever, and Mason.
So do we
You
have?
guys, there's another little tidbit to carry the whole Star Wars, Star Trek thing.
Yes.
And I think I put a picture of it up, but there was actually a tribble in Gia's room.
Shut up, are you serious?
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to look back at that.
And there's a little part where she actually throws it at me, but they cut it out of the scene.
Aw.
So it was really cute.
Well, you're warming her heart right now. Yeah. do we have any idea if you guys are getting another season?
Well, I don't know if you can talk
I
about
have
that.
no clue. I have no
Really?
clue. We have the back half of this season, the second half of this season, which will start January 16th. Set your DVRs. And we have the 16-episode season. So, I mean, we're number one on the night every night, so hopefully that's a little bit of incentive.
That's fantastic.
So we'll see. We're on as much cliffhanger as you guys are watching the night's episode.
Now, for us watching, we're always kind of frustrated by like what's kind of being doled out in terms of information about like the bigger agendas, who's coming from what direction. Now, you as a cast member who's kind of more of an inside, are you guys as frustrated as the fans are sometimes? Like, what's this information? Why are we doing this? What's going on?
Hell yeah! I don't know what the hell is going on. No, that's only partially true. Here's the thing. There's a bunch of things that, like, it's a TV show, right? It's a suspense show, so there's certain things they're going to leave you hanging on and wait for. And there's certain things that even I don't know. They've actually told certain secrets to certain cast members and not everybody.
Oh.
So there's
It's very much
things
like
that
on
I
the
know
show.
about my character that they don't necessarily know about me. And we have some new people, too. Annie, I can't remember. It's very hard to pronounce. Annie Verger, but it's actually easy to pronounce. I just don't have it in front of me. But she was the lady on 24. She's joining the show, and actually I was talking to her, and she was sharing some secrets about her character. She accidentally told me, where I was like, is that what's happening? Oh,
Has anybody asked you to record other cast members, though?
that's just a personal thing.
Now, I mean,
Terrible.
Malcolm, nobody else is listening. It's just the four of us talking. So feel free if you wanted to share any of your
No,
secrets.
no, don't do that. Don't do that, please.
So for
I
moment,
can what?
oh, go ahead,
What's
Malcolm. Go. You said you were going to say
yeah,
something.
you thought I was going to tell you. I can tell you we're going to some interesting places. You're going to dig it. We're going to keep going into American history and keep telling you some things you thought you knew.
Well,
And the characters are going to continue to grow in ways that you will not see coming.
that is
My
what
poor little heart.
Yeah, and I think what we've all enjoyed about watching the show is that the time periods that the writers have taken you to are nice, like not well-traveled time locations used in other time travel shows.
Yeah,
Right.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're learning along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you and me both, man.
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of, anytime when I put in Google searches of something from an episode, I love how it's already there, because I'm already assuming that most people are like, oh yeah, I didn't know that, I'm going to just look that up real quick, and it's just really nice. A lot of the fans actually, Malcolm wanted to know, since I don't want to jump too far into the episode since we haven't gotten to it yet, but I don't want to forget this now, because I will forget it. Ivan Soto in the chat asked, can you ask Malcolm if he would have killed Rittenhouse's son like Flynn was trying to do?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a personal story of that night.
Okay.
So that
It looked
scene,
cold.
that scene where we say, I vote yes,
Yeah.
was the night of election night. And right before I give that monologue, we found out that Trump had won. And
Wow.
so I didn't handle it the best. And so you can see some of that frustration in the scene. So I tell you this, I don't know that I would have killed Rittenhouse's son, but I feel pretty strongly that I might have killed Rittenhouse.
No.
So that was method acting, and you were using your experience with Trump to say, yes, you'd kill him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like not to sound like a douche, like a great douche novel, like cool, but sure.
So Malcolm, for this episode, being the winter finale, they start showing some of their cards. When you're getting this script, how were you like in terms of like just the amount of revelations that were happening? Were you kind of blown away, like, wow, they're revealing all this already?
Yeah, I was actually happy about this episode because excuse me, guys, I got a little bit of a cold. I was happy about this episode because, we directly solved the whole letter thing. I know a bunch of people were like, well, what are we going to do? Like, oh, I bet they leave this letter thing dragging out forever. And no, we come immediately there and you realize, Benedict Arnold is a part of the founding members of Rittenhouse. And so I was actually excited to see that. And there's certain things because I know the plan of the show I'm a little less surprised at. But it was actually in the very first episode, actually the first 2 episodes of the second half of the season, I was completely shocked, and we get into territory that the writers haven't even hinted at before. So it's going to be very surprising.
Oh my God.
Well, because when it comes to time travel shows, more often than not, it feels like they'll always kind of do the writing of the story to get back to our history is always kind of stays the same as we know it. And what I liked about Timeless, especially from the pilot episode, is that no, the writers are willing to make changes.
They were like, no, we're going to completely change it.
Yeah, which I love that. Were you guys as a cast member excited that they were willing to kind of rewrite history along the way?
Yeah, I love that they're willing to do that. It's interesting. We always go a little bit back and forth. I was talking to somebody on Twitter about CTC, the closed timeline principles, and Novikov and things like that, because, in the actual theoretical thinking of it, there's the grandfather paradox, which makes it impossible to time travel into the past, but then Novikov had this idea that when you do travel to the past, it is possible because the universe always tries to correct itself, so you can't really change anything. We kind of buy into both sides of it. We kind of buy into there's a belief that, yes, things are inevitable, and then there's this other side of it where we're going, no, we're going to completely make things completely different.
So it's paradox.
So like when you see Bonnie and Clyde,
Yep,
they
that's
end
gonna
up
be my
dying
example.
together no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of unavoidable, and that kind of feeds into this sort of endless love sort of undertone that is underneath the show.
I'm just curious. Where does Timeless fall on your career path? Was this have you had some big
Who is
things?
this talking? Who is this talking?
This is Chris.
Howard.
Sorry. This is Chris.
You guys stop busting Chris's balls so much. You guys are always beating him up. There's like 17 wah-wahs during the show. You guys are so harsh to Chris.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I wish Carrie Lane was here right now.
Yes, I just need somebody to stand up for me. Thank you.
I had to. Well, Rufus is always looking out for the underdog.
Thank you, brother. See, I'm part of the team. I'm part of
but you
Team
can say
Timeless
You
here.
can say ridiculous stuff.
Part of the team. What's happening?
Yeah, no, this is a really good thing for my career, man. It's everything I ever wanted to be. I get to play a smart, black, sensitive black man, and a genius, and on the world's big stage here, and heavily promoted. I'm on the front of the bus. We used to be on the back of the bus. Now we're on the front of the bus. That's what I am.
Yes.
It's because you stood up, brother.
Yeah. Move out the way. Rufus is here.
Would you see this as being the biggest step so far in your career path?
Oh yeah, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh my word.
They're giving me grief over here. If only you could see.
I'm just enjoying every minute of this. It's just so good. Like, I can't.
No, we're excited. We're excited you called in.
Oh my
This is
God.
awesome.
Yeah. Wait, no. Did you guys finish talking about the episode? I don't want
No, no. We're just
hang
getting to the
on,
part where you guys just we find out that you guys are going to agree with Flynn on his plan. Shooting those scenes where you get the 4 of you guys together all in a room. You get Flynn. Well, to backtrack to the last episode, I do like how you get separated when everybody.
Every time.
Yes, but that just Flynn, the way you and Flynn have that reaction when you see each other as you're being interrogated by the police. And Flynn's like, hey, yep, just leave him to me. Just that moment where you just realize, like, oh, man, I got Flynn on my back again. Just those nice moments.
Yes.
But when you get the 4 of you guys in a room, I got to imagine that's got to be are those the most fun scenes to film?
Well, that's the first time we've ever all 4 been in a room together. We've only been, she secretly talked to him. I spy him when I'm in the police station, and, Wyatt has had some confrontations with him. So, and me and Goran are buddies. This was the first time all 4 of us actually were in the room is during that George Washington scene. So it was really interesting because for the most part, we're kind of separated from Flynn throughout most of the season. So to actually have all four of us in a room together was really sort of electric and interesting. And on the same note, while we're revealing all these things about Rittenhouse, and also you're kind of seeing the journal come true. You know, you're actually seeing, you know, Flynn said at some point we'll be working together, and on this fall finale we actually do.
And we talked about that too. At one point, we were predicting like they have to work together. At one point, like it's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got it in the mid-season finale, not the finale.
And what I like,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it just made more sense because
Yeah.
I don't think I could have waited like double number. Like
She's very impatient,
episodes.
though.
I am. I'm extremely impatient. I'm like, I need my stuff now. But no, it was really it was bittersweet for me because I was like, I still don't trust you completely, Flynn, but I understand that you have.
There's something there, but
Good intentions, kind of adjacent to the cause. So, like, I don't know.
but that's how the characters are feeling too, yeah.
Well, no, yeah, and that's why I liked that Rufus was the one that actually said it first. Of just like if we can get the chance to get me out of it, to get you out of it, like why not take this chance? We might not get this chance again. Like it made sense.
Very
So,
true.
Yeah.
And also, what I like is what the writers choose to show us and what they don't, and they just assume that we'll know it. Like Rufus telling the team that he talked to Agent Christopher and filled her in on everything about what they knew
we
about
didn't need that
Rittenhouse.
filmed.
No, or just like the team coming up with the way that they're going to handle the recordings, but they already have their kind of plan when we first see him in the lifeboat.
I was panicking that because Rufus Mason was like, you can't mess with this recording, and then all of a sudden
Yes.
like, let's betray Rittenhouse. I was like, ugh. Like my entire being just like it was just cringing the entire time. It was
Malcolm,
just, it was rough.
so you're in Canada filming. Are you from that area? Or are you from California here?
No, man, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I'm from all the places white people used to drive through and now they own. It's lovely neighborhoods. It's great. Bed-Stuy is a great place. That's where me, my mom, and my whole family's from, and that community's built up on itself and with other folks, and it's great. Yeah, I'm a Brooklyn boy, born and raised.
Right on. So they were doing nationwide casting for this when it started, or did you go in?
No, well, that's where I was born and raised, but my career's come much farther since then, Chris. I've been in LA, and they cast it out of LA. I met Eric and Sean via auditioning for this. I don't think they knew about me. You know, I've been working in LA for years doing random TV. A lot of folks know me from Better Off Ted and some Key and Peele stuff.
Yes.
Or one sketch, not like a whole freaking syllabus. Try not to curse. It's the internet. You guys don't have censors.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, buddy. It's
Fuck
fine.
it.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Ken.
so
Ken,
I
not you.
literally auditioned for them, screen tested. They dug it, and so I got the part. I'd been a huge fan of theirs because, you know, I'd binge watched Supernatural at my friend's place as a huge nerd, and I'd always been watching The Shield, the entire series. So, you know, to be in a room with like two, you know, icons of television writing was a big moment for me, and to have us all collaborate, I think, made for a very interesting product.
Your writers seem really, really strong.
Yeah, they're really good, dude.
No, that's great. I mean, we were just talking tonight about the writing throughout the episode, and it seems really, really strong.
Now, as somebody that is a big fan, of course, you watched The Shield, you watched Supernatural, mythology-heavy shows. So being a fan of those types of storytelling and now being in something like that, has it given you a better appreciation for the way that writers and producers will kind of pace out how they reveal certain pieces of information to the audience?
No.
Nope. I want to know everything, and I want to know it now.
Yeah, I want to know all of this stuff immediately.
Thank you.
I, as an actor and a writer, I completely know why they do it, you know, but I do the same thing that everybody else does, where I'm like, please tell me all the information now. Tell me it now. And, you know, it's very interesting to be on the inside of it because it's like, you know, I'm probably 5 episodes ahead of you guys. So, like, there's revelations that you guys are going through, and I'm like, what do you I'm like, oh, yeah. It's true. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
You know?
I don't want to brag, but I'm 5 episodes ahead.
It hurts my soul. It hurts my
Well, you know what's the weirdest part? The weirdest part of being a nerd, a fanboy, because, you know, we went to Comic-Con this year,
Yeah, you
the
did.
New York and the San Diego one, where I met Alexis, who's awesome. Whatchamacallit? I was in 2 years ago, I went to Comic-Con for the very first time, and actually being here is really awesome. And you know, I was very surprised. Like, to be a part of a couple that's being shipped is like really cute to me.
Oh yeah, it makes
look
me
at that.
so happy because you're amazing, you're talented, you're just a fantastic dude, and I just want nothing but the best for you. And this show is just
Oh,
awesome.
well, thank you, Puddin'. Thank you, Puddin'.
Puddin'.
Yeah, because I was dressed as Harley Quinn when we when we did the interview. I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have been more professional, but it's Comic-Con, who cares?
Now we heard at Comic-Con they had that machine that spins around and replicates what it must feel like for time travel. Did you do that?
I did that. Can I tell you? I did the little voice thing and like a video thing, and I think actually Patterson, who's amazing as Connor Mason, he did one of these things too for the space race, where you got to, if you had the sort of Sony VR stuff, you got to go through all of that stuff. But I actually, because I'm a fanboy, I came to Comic-Con like a day early. I was just like going on stuff, and like I had a backpack with a speaker in it that I played my own music on, like not my own, like my recordings, but like just music in general. And I was like walking by the Timeless Gravitron, and some PR person, she was like, "Are you Malcolm?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" They were like, "Do you want to get on the ride or something?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not, man? Let's do it." And so I think I rode that ride like 3 or 4 times. Like,
Wow.
My God.
two because they made me for press, and 2 because I was around.
Did you get sick? Is it one of the? Because I heard it was like one of those things that spins
I
around
couldn't
and
do
makes
that.
your stomach turn.
I mean, if you do get your stomach, I don't know. I didn't get sick. I can only tell you that, you know, I have the constitution of a superhero.
Nice.
And so
That's true.
bragging.
That's true.
Look, Abby was on it. I had some buddies of mine. My boy Arjun Gupta from The Magicians, he was there. He was on it. My boy Ari. A bunch of us were all on there, and just had a great time.
That's awesome.
Now, as somebody who's got a deep love for science fiction, all that stuff, you get a chance to meet Rittenhouse this episode, and it's Armin Shimmerman from DS9.
I know, holy crap.
What's
I know,
it
right?
like? Yes. What's it like to do a scene with him? Like, holy cow, I've got Quark right here with me.
I didn't see anybody else freaking out, so I was like, I'm just gonna keep my excitement on the inside this time.
Yeah, I was totally freaking out. I mean, and you never want to say that because I met him and we were talking about theater because he's a theater guy. I have a theater company, ammunitiontheater.com. Dropping that in there.
What is it?
Go look at it, go look at it.
Ammunition Theater?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
But he, I didn't want to bring it up, so I'm having like all this elevated conversation about like the state of theater and who we are and what it takes to make a company. But in my head, I was like, "You're the dude from the stuff, man. You're the dude from the Star Trek stuff. And, you're the weird wizard. Were you a hobbit or a thing from a Rings movie or something? You're the guy. You're a Potter.
You're the guy. Oh, is he from Harry Potter? Was he one of those little? Was he? He wasn't from Harry Potter.
No.
He wasn't.
I don't know. I feel like he played a wizard in Harry, like a
He looks
troll or
like he
something in
could have
Harry Potter,
been-
but I could be completely wrong.
You know
those-
I'm not that level.
You know the
of,
bankers,
nerddom to
the
know all of
bankers that have
My
the-
apologies.
The guys that work at
Gringotts?
Gringotts, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, he was the principal on Buffy.
Yep, that
Yes.
was
Okay.
cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know him, so I was like,
Also, little inside trivia. You know, some of my I don't really write ad libs, but a lot of times I let us talk about the scenes and give notes and things like that. So, you know, the scene where I'm actually watching the slaves before I come into that scene with him was a scene we had talked about with the writers and director, because there was actually a line where I said, where I see the slaves and I look at them and I go, I'm sick of waiting outside. And I take my jacket off and I go towards them and blah, blah, blah. Sort of a callback to how I'm always have to kind of be outside there. But I actually thought they made a better choice, which was that you just saw it in my eyes and you saw it in watching the things of the frustration of having to see this for the first time and what is he going to do about it and how he's affected by that. So I thought it was a cool moment.
We thought that you handled the whole show has handled very well the whole black going back and the times where you thought it was like as a black man it would be hard to fit in. We thought, boy, that could be overdone in terms of how often it was approached and stuff. But it seems to have handled it seamlessly with the writing and stuff. It's not overdone, but it's approached in a good, classy way.
Yeah, I like to think so. You know, it's a constant. You know, we're in uncharted territory, so you know it's hard to be perfect, right?
Right.
If you don't have a sort of prototype for this sort of way of handling this world, And so there's always a balance. I always feel listened to. Do you know what I mean? We always try things, and not every idea, makes it to the final cut, but a lot of my ideas do. I think your co-star, who isn't on there now, or co-host, she mentioned something about that, about how, the very first episode, we come at you and let you know, boom, we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, the thing that's obvious to most minorities and not as obvious to a lot of people who aren't of color, which is that it's hard to be a person of color and travel through time. So, we hit you in the face with it in the pilot, and then we kind of let it play how it plays throughout, the season and the episodes. Even in the episode with Bonnie and Clyde, you see me helping out a little girl at a colored water.
That was such a nice touch.
Now, we didn't announce it, but if you're watching the picture, and so not everybody saw that's what it was, but, a lot of people did. And I thought that is a beautiful example of how we sometimes subtly handle the sort of racist history of America.
Yeah, and I love that the fact that it's, even though, yes, it was a smack in the face in the pilot, but as the episodes went on, it was kind of lighter and lighter to the point we didn't have to sit there and be like, look at it. It was just kind of like, this is happening. Yeah. We can move on from it now.
That's the good thing. That's a good thing about America. You get used to the racism.
I don't want to talk about it, but yes. But I like the fact that it's, I don't have to hear people complain about the fact that that's like the one thing. And also that it's not just for you, the fact that Lucy gets to go through it too as a woman, because history for women is also terrible. So like everybody has, their issues that they had to deal with in the past.
Well, tonight was the perfect example, though, when what's his name from Rittenhouse grabs her face and says, "You're going to my bedchamber." No, but that was, it's reality. No. So that's what's kind of.
Wasn't that terrible?
Oh yeah, it was.
But it was perfect because it's in your face.
But I also like that they didn't have Rittenhouse to be like this charm boat of a guy. Like he's a sick, twisted person. Like I like that we kept that. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, oh yeah, he seems like he's normal. No, he's clearly.
He's a scumbag.
For the record, the real Rittenhouse was a great guy. What you saw, some fans guessed the connection to the original Rittenhouse, who I think was part of the Mint and an actual clockmaker of some kind. Before the record, the actual Rittenhouse, as far as we know, was a great guy.
Yeah.
So just for the sake of
so we're not slandering him and.
No, for the sake of the show, I like that they did that, because I don't know if there's I don't know any personal records of Rittenhouse, so I like that we got to kind of mess with that.
Because we were looking him up on Wikipedia, and Mason, the name Mason was right around the same time of Rittenhouse. You guys must know that.
I do, because I listen to these shows, clearly. Not because I did any personal research, because I, like you, listen to all of these shows. Right. And so I did know that.
So we end the episode. Finally, we get face to face with Rittenhouse, and after a little struggle, that Rufus comes in and saves the day for Wyatt and Flynn. It comes to that moment, and Flynn does kill Rittenhouse. He doesn't get his son though. His son does escape. So Flynn takes Lucy away into the mothership, and they disappear, leaving Wyatt and Rufus back in 1780, figuring out what's their next move.
Nice cliffhanger.
No, it was really good. I was not expecting that, because we were trying to think of what do we do now that Rittenhouse is dead, and I didn't know I thought we were just going to go back, and then they were just going to tell him Rittenhouse is dead, and then just fade to black or go to black. But instead, now we have a completely different twist of Lucy going, and now we have no idea where they're going.
Yeah, you guys seem like it could go anywhere with the show at this point.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I like too. I honestly, when I read that, I was surprised too. I did not see that coming at all. So I was really just like, oh crap. Exactly like that. I was like, is she okay? So yeah, I can't tell you what happens afterwards, but I can tell you, I was excited because I felt like the same thing. I felt like, oh wow, there's no telling where we're going, and it's a game changer. And I get annoyed at myself because every time I promote a new episode, I'm always like, this one's a game changer.
No, this one's a game changer.
They are.
The one other thing I did
in some way, in some way, they always you always end up going, oh crap, I didn't know that could happen. Or
the other little moment I like too is that we get a little bit. We've learned bits and pieces about Flynn as well, but to hear this episode, that even if he does fix time and bring back his wife and child, he still wants to leave them because he realizes just the experience of getting them back has made him into such a terrible person. He thinks he can't be a family man anymore.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice little moment to add to his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're humanizing him a bit.
I mean, but again, it makes sense.
No, go ahead, Alexis.
Oh, thanks. Again, I like that we do that because the fact that all these people that are in this entire show and everything, because I know we don't have a lot of time, so I want to get through this as much as I can, but like, I love that the show takes these people who do terrible things because of the motive that they have. It's not the fact that they're, maybe for some people, that they're psychopaths or anything. It's just because something traumatic happened to them and they don't know how to deal with it, but now they're given this tool and they kind of just go. Like, there's no thinking behind it to a point, but like, I love that it's not just like, oh, he's a serial killer. He's just going to go and start killing people and changing time. No, he clearly has the fact, like when he was just feeding, when he was giving the water to the horses, like that was very human of him to do that, even though we've seen him do terrible things throughout the entire show. Like, I like that we get little Easter eggs of that as well, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like, you know, in a lot of ways, everyone's an anti-hero. You know what I mean? Because we're all keeping secrets for what we think are the best of reasons. You know what I mean? And that's who we are as people, you know? And I think that's how these guys build characters. They build people who, no matter what is going on, there's a reason that makes sense to them, and so for some reason it makes you care. Do you know what I mean? Same way, you know, Sean Ryan did it when he did The Shield. You know what I mean? The lead character is essentially a racist and a murderer and all of this, and yet you watch him season after season. You know, he's not a guy I would like to be in a room with. You know, same with Flynn. Like, he's killed a lot of people, you know, but you get the idea. You're able to watch him because you realize how human he is, and by his means, he thinks he's doing the right thing. You know, but I wasn't knowing. I'm like, if you're gonna do all this, man, stay with your family. Don't worry. Stay there.
Oh, let me ask one more question. Does Abigail talk about me a lot?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy.
She literally, Chris has mentioned you 0 times.
Okay.
But that's only.
Yes.
I just needed to know.
All right.
I'm sorry, Malcolm.
Yes.
We have to wrap up.
Malcolm, thank you so much for calling in tonight. It was so awesome to talk to you, and I hope when the series, the finale airs and you're back in LA, you'd come in and sit down and talk with us. We'd love to see you in person.
Well, thank you. You guys are awesome, and you know, feel free just because I called, feel free to still crap on the parts you hate. It's not that big a deal. We got
All right, Malcolm,
Thanks,
real
man.
quick before you leave there, where can they follow you on social media?
I am at Malcolm Barrett, and Verb will be rapping on Instagram, and I got a theater company called Ammunition Theater, and we're at ammotheater.com. We got a new show coming out called How to Raise a Freeman, and that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I don't know when it's when is it? Last week of February and March.
You should come back and we can promote it.
Who also writes for 24. That's the end of my plug-in.
Yeah.
Awesome. Malcolm,
And the show's back January 16th.
love
Got
it.
it,
We'll be back.
January 16th.
That's right. Have a great holiday, Rufus. We'll see you back on Timeless January 16th on NBC, Monday nights, 10 o'clock. All right, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
Yes, folks, we're going to be wrapping it up right now. Folks, you can follow us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, hopping in the chat. What a great opportunity. Thanks, Alexis, for setting us up here with Malcolm, getting us a chance to talk in tonight. And, Chris, if they want to talk to you even after the show's over, where can they find you?
At Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram.
You can follow me all over social media. And again, we're all Shenanigans. We'll see you at ATORS890. That's ATORES 890.
And you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Folks, have a great holiday. We'll be back here January 16th recapping the winter premiere, or the spring premiere of Timeless. See you then.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.